Hey business students! In exams, it is common to encounter questions asking for a comparison, evaluation, and/or justification of the use of the motivational theories. It is therefore important to understand not only what the theories are, but also how they relate and operate in comparison to each other. An example question comparing the motivational theories is: the management of a large retailer with 220 employees is seeking to motivate its employees in order to improve performance. Describe both Maslow's and Locke's theories of motivation. In your response, include a discussion of which of these motivation theories would be the most appropriate for this organisation. 10 marks. This question can be attempted by firstly highlighting the doing words of the question, which outlines what exactly is required in a response. These include describe and include. It is important to know the meanings of these terms if you are to successfully answer the question. Describe requires students to provide the features and/or characteristics of the theories. Secondly, students could underline the key terms of the question, which will form the basis for your response. These include large retailer with 220 employees, Maslow's, Locke's theories, discussion, and most appropriate. Each of these words or phrases should be addressed within your response, as they will form the foundation of the marks awarded. Thirdly, the joining word should be acknowledged, as requiring an explanation and discussion of both theories to gain full marks. Fourthly, students should determine the marking scheme for this 10-mark question. It could be assumed that 3 marks will be awarded for a description, possibly including an example of Maslow's theory. 3 marks will be awarded for a description, possibly including an example of Locke's theory, 1 mark for identifying which theory would be best, and 3 marks for outlining why this theory is the most appropriate, with reference to why this specifically applies to the type of organisation mentioned. Students should then determine the structure and plan of how their response should be set out. As a 10-mark question, the response will be lengthy and therefore require multiple paragraphs. The first paragraph could begin with an introductory statement regarding motivation and its necessity within organisations. For example, motivation refers to the individual internal processes that direct, energise, and sustain a person's behaviour. Organisations aim to motivate their employees to maximise their performance. The first paragraph could continue with a discussion of Maslow's theory, which should aim to be worth approximately 3 marks. It is not important which theory description is in which paragraph, so it is acceptable for Locke's theory to be addressed first, depending on your preference. This description should include an outline of the theory's basis, how it is put into action, and possibly some of its strengths or weaknesses in its implementation. For example, Maslow's hierarchy of needs is a theory which can be adopted to improve the motivation that will in turn improve employees' performance. This hierarchy involves a 5-step hierarchy in which the first stage must be achieved to progress to the second, and so on. The first stage refers to the physiological needs, such as satisfactory pay for survival. Once this has been achieved, the safety and security needs of employees must be addressed, such as job security and occupational health and safety. This is followed by the belonging needs, including teamwork within the larger retailer organisation. The 4th stage of the theory is esteem needs of employees, which could involve recognition for the achievements of employees. Finally, there are the self-actualisation needs, including the possibility for promotion and creative and interesting work. This theory can be difficult to apply to a large group of people, as each individual is at a different stage. However, it is more likely to relate to multiple people, as it has different aspects. The second paragraph of the response should include the description of Locke's theory, or Maslow's if you choose to begin with Locke. As before, this description should include an outline of the theory's basis, how it is put into action, and possibly some of its strengths or weaknesses in implementation. For example, Locke's goal-setting theory is based off the idea that setting goals will motivate employees to be more productive as they will work towards achieving objectives. Firstly, managers must create goals that are specific and challenging, however, not overwhelming, so that employees will be willing to work towards achieving this. This can occur through applying the SMART principle to objectives: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. Secondly, managers achieve motivation by providing feedback. By informing employees of their progress towards achieving the set goals, this will allow employees to feel valued and enthusiastic. This should result in the 3rd stage, performance and productivity being improved as a result of employees being enthusiastic and motivated to achieve the set objectives. This approach allows for all employees to be aware of what they are working towards and helps employees to be motivated about their job, therefore leading to improved performance. However, this approach does not consist of different aspects to appeal to employees, and instead relies solely on the employee's willingness to achieve the goals to attain motivation, meaning it may not always be effective. In the third and final paragraph, there should be discussion of which theory would be the most appropriate to use for the large retailer described in the question. It is advisable to clearly state your chosen theory so that there is no confusion when reading the response. It would be advisable to also include at least 2 reasons as to why you've chosen the theory to demonstrate you'll have a clear understanding of the theories and why they're effective. For example, Maslow's hierarchy of needs is a more effective motivational theory in comparison to Locke's goal-setting theory. This is due to Maslow's theory having multiple stages, and is therefore more likely to apply to all employees, including the 220 of this organisation, who will have different appeals and interests. These stages also occur in a logical natural progression. Locke's goal-setting theory is unlikely to apply to all employees of the large retailer, as it relies on the single notion that all employees will be interested in achieving the goals and objectives of the organisation. In Maslow's theory, employees are also required to have their physiological and safety and security needs met before the job itself motivates the employee, therefore indicating that alone, Locke's theory may be ineffective in motivating the employees of the large retailer, as it is not also targeting their needs outside the job. In 10-mark questions, it is important to plan responses so you have a clear idea about where this answer is going. Planning can be done on the page or mentally. As 10-mark questions require lengthy responses, it is important to set aside an appropriate amount of time to answer these questions. 10 marks is a significant proportion of marks in Saxon exams, so it is important to give it your best attempt. Bearing this in mind, be careful not to waste too much time and forget about the other questions on the paper. Happy studying!
Thanks for watching. This link will take you to the Engage Wiki, and this link will take you to the next video. What are you still watching for? Click the link.